There was a last time your mother carried you up the stairs. A last time your father knelt down so you could climb onto his shoulders. You don't remember it. Not because your memory failed you, but because, on that day, nobody knew it was the last time. It felt like an ordinary afternoon. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you were half asleep. You were carried inside, your shoes were slipped off, and you were put to bed. And then, quietly, it never happened again. There was no final hug announced. No countdown. No goodbye. The biggest endings of your life almost always arrive in disguise. And tonight, you're going to find out why. Here is something strange about the way you are built. Your brain is obsessed with firsts. Your first day of school. Your first kiss. The first time you rode a bike without anyone holding on. These moments are burned into you in high definition. But your lasts? Almost all of them are gone. And there is a reason for that, a quiet flaw in the design of human memory. To understand it, you have to understand what your brain is actually for. It is not built to remember your life. It is built to keep you alive. And to do that, it cares about one thing above all else: what is new. In the early 2000s, two neuroscientists, Bunzeck and Düzel, ran a simple experiment. They showed people a stream of images and watched their brains. When something new appeared, a deep region near the brainstem lit up. A burst of dopamine, the brain's signal that says pay attention, this matters. Novelty, they found, doesn't just feel exciting. It physically tells your memory to start recording. So a first time, anything new, gets stamped in bright, vivid detail. Now think about what a last time actually looks like. On the day it happens, it looks like every other day. The last time your dad carried you felt exactly like the 100th time. Ordinary, familiar, nothing new. So your brain does what it always does with the familiar. It barely records it at all. Do you see the cruel little trap inside that? A first time announces itself. It is loud. It is new. A last time only becomes a last much later, when you look back and realize it already happened. At the moment it mattered most, it was invisible. In 1977, two psychologists, Roger Brown and James Kulik, described something they called flashbulb memories. These are the moments so shocking your brain takes a near-perfect snapshot. Where you were, who you were with, what the light looked like. But notice what every flashbulb memory has in common. Surprise, emotion, the sense that everything just changed. A goodbye you didn't know was a goodbye has none of those things. There is no flash, so there is no photo. And this is why your childhood feels the way it does when you reach back for it. You remember the beginnings. The endings simply dissolved. There is even a name for the strange shape of human memory. The psychologist David Rubin called it the reminiscence bump. When you ask older people to recall their lives, the memories cluster in one place. Between roughly 10 and 30 years old. Not because those years were more important, but because they were full of firsts. First love, first job, first time leaving home. After 30, the first slowed down, and so, in a way, does the recording. Life starts to feel faster, blurrier, harder to pin to specific days. You're not imagining it. You are simply running out of new things for your brain to flag. But here is the part that I think almost no one stops to feel. It isn't only the carrying. There was a last time you ran out to play until the sky went dark. A last time a parent read to you, and you fell asleep before the end. A last time your whole family slept under one roof, before everyone scattered into their own lives. A last time you and your closest friends were all in the same room, before jobs and cities pulled you apart. Each of those had a final occurrence. A real day, on a real calendar. And every single one slipped past you without a sound. Let that land for a moment. The most important endings of your life were never marked. No ceremony, no warning, no chance to hold on a little tighter. So why does it hurt now, years later, when it didn't hurt then? For that, we turn to Daniel Kahneman, who won a Nobel Prize for studying how we actually experience our lives. Kahneman discovered something he called the peak-end rule. When you remember an experience, you don't average all of it. Your mind keeps two things: the most intense moment and how it ended. The ending carries enormous weight. A good ending can redeem a hard experience. A bad ending can poison a good one. Endings are how your mind decides what a chapter meant. But these chapters of your childhood never got a real ending. They didn't close. They just trailed off. And a part of you has been quietly waiting to say a goodbye it never got to say. That waiting is what you feel right now. Here is the twist, though. We tend to think the saddest losses are the dramatic ones. The big farewells. The final days. The moments everyone cries. But those, at least, you get to witness. You get to be there. You get to hold on. The truly quiet grief is for the ordinary lasts, the ones disguised as just another Tuesday. The carry. The bedtime story. The ordinary afternoon you'd give anything to stand inside again. They hurt more precisely because you didn't know to look. And now, the part that matters. Because none of this is meant to leave you grieving. There is a strange gift hidden inside knowing all of this. The psychologists Konstantin Sedikides and Tim Wildschut spent years studying nostalgia. For a long time, people assumed it was purely painful, a kind of sickness for the past. What they found was the opposite. Nostalgia, used well, makes life feel more meaningful. It connects you to the people you love. It reminds you that your life has weight. The ache you feel is not a wound. It is proof that something mattered. And it points at something you can still do. Because here is the truth your brain will try to hide from you. Right now, today, you are living inside last you cannot see. There is a last time your child will reach up and ask you to carry them. A last time you'll hear a certain voice say your name the way only they do. A last time this exact group of people will be together, exactly like this. You don't know which ordinary day it is. You never will, in the moment. But you know, now, that those days exist, hidden inside the normal ones. And that knowledge is something almost no one walks around with. You can't go back and catch the last behind you. Those are gone, and that's allowed to be sad. But you can change your relationship with the ones still ahead. You can let the ordinary moment be enough, while it's still here. You can linger one extra second in a hug, for no reason at all. You can look up from the screen when someone you love walks into the room. Not out of fear, out of attention. Because attention is the only thing that turns an ordinary moment into one you'll keep. So tonight, when someone small reaches up to be carried, or someone you love says stay a little longer, carry them. Stay. Linger 1 second past the moment you'd normally let go. Because one of those plain, forgettable days is quietly going to be the last. And this time, you'll have known.